Okay, recording this video after close of trade Wednesday, 27th of July 2011. Just a little bit of tech problems on my end, so this video is probably going to go out late. Well, that was quite a day, and potentially a little bit of a game-changing type day. Let me show you what I'm seeing on my charts. First of all, 2.2 million contracts traded, exhaustion selling bar, and importantly, we've broken through cyclical support here on the daily time frame, and we're inches away from the weekly support, which is at 1291 on the weekly chart. So that's interesting. In terms of trendline charts, been showing this over the last couple of weeks, kind of in this congestion pattern. Well, with today's activity, we busted out of the bottom kind of rising trend line here, so potentially breaking into a downtrend move. And on my better X trend, finally, this has kind of switched around and reversed into a downtrend. I was talking about this the other day. So I've not released the code on better X trend, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this. But the whole point of better X trend is it works based on exhaustion, selling and buying volume. So the beginning of a move is set up by an exhaustion buying volume bar, and then that's when the professionals kind of get on board a move, and it kind of continues on. And then at the end of the move, what you typically have is another kind of exhaustion buying, and that's the exhaustion buying bar that professionals are using to get out. Similarly, you get the same kind of thing on downtrends. So this last kind of downtrend move that we can see here, this was kind of started off by some exhaustion kind of selling bars at the beginning of this move, and then finally we get confirmation on price, and this thing works itself down into a trailing stop on the way down, and then the exhaustion selling that we had was at this point here. The exhaustion buying on this up leg is set off by this bar here. We kind of move into an up leg. Exhaustion buying bars here and here. Now, interestingly, during this last down move, you can see we had no exhaustion selling bars to signal the start of this move. So, the indicator never flipped around. Smart little indicator that it is. And then with yesterday's activity, we had the first kind of exhaustion selling bar here that set up the possibility of a break, which we got today with this exhaustion kind of selling bar here. So better X trends kind of flipped around, and so the important level on the way back up, I mean, we'll always kind of test back up to make sure these things are right, but testing back up, it needs to get to 35 before kind of flipping around. So and 1300 is kind of a critical level. I mean, I think we've got a pretty extreme kind of level of selling at the end of the day. We do need to make end of trend warning patterns on the 4500 tip bar chart, and I'll show you that. But this is an important kind of point in time. In terms of that 4500 tip bar chart, let's just back this up a little bit. So with yesterday's activity, so what I'm looking for, exhaustion buying and selling to kind of set off trend moves or determine a trend, and I'm using the 4500 tip bar chart to determine trend. So the last time we had exhaustion buying was into this resistance level here. You can see there's the exhaustion buying, the blue professional bars kind of going in here, and this is where we had this funny kind of flip back up with a 2-point kind of push past to run a whole bunch of stops, and we've basically not stopped since that kind of running of stops activity up here in the 30s. We did have exhaustion selling on the downside, but you can see where that happened was at the start of this move. You need to see that exhaustion selling at the end of moves in order to show the kind of the capitulation, if you like, of the volume, and that's where it happened today, kind of down here in this first leg down. So it happens there with the professionals kind of stepping back in. We push past it with some amateur down bar, Rambo patterns, another blue professional bar. Let me just show you that. Kind of right down here at the lows, and that's where we get the bullish divergence pattern here. So to reverse moves, we need not only the exhaustion pattern, but the bullish divergence pattern, or the divergence pattern. We kind of float back up into a pullback and a downtrend, because we've now broken into a severe downtrend on the 4500 tip bar chart, where we get exhaustion buying at this point. There's our bearish divergence right on the zero line, and we crash back down to the end of the day, where we kind of close on the lows, exhaustion selling on the downside, blue professional bars kind of coming in and flush volume there. So that was kind of the rationale, if you like, for kind of the setup of this trend move. And along the way, I think there was kind of some good trading. Believe it or not, I mean, I was out after the first 12 minutes of trade with my 4 points. I was done for the day. and partially because, well, mostly because I was kind of focusing more of my effort on the 500 tip bar chart than certainly the 45 or the 1500. But I got short on the break of this blue bar here. So we kind of maxed out a little bit and we're kind of trending down. The break of the low of that blue professional bar signaled to me weakness. We had kind of confirmation on swings on the downswings on the higher time frames. Had more kind of professional positioning at this point, but you can see the highs of that little kind of congestion move do not get kind of broken. The lows get broken, and then we kind of sink down. So I took 2 points here, entered back in at this point, and got another 2 points on the way down here at this end of trend. But when you look at this thing in perspective, I mean, what I was trading was like just a micro move in terms of the whole thing on the way down. Much better to have been trading focusing my efforts on the 1500 tip bar chart, where we broke into this downtrend, and the first really decent leg down after we'd seen exhaustion selling. So this thing is not going to stop until we've seen exhaustion selling, an end of trend down here. This was the leg to be focusing my attention on, and I was not. Kind of along the way, all kinds of clues to get into a nice kind of downtrend move. You take any amateur bars on retraces here, so this little amateur bar here kind of testing this support becomes resistance type level here, kind of head on down. The next one is pullback in a downtrend, amateur bars at this point here. Take that one kind of on the way down. After we've had our end of trend, we've had exhaustion selling on the downside here. The bullish divergence patterns kind of set in, end of trend. This is going to be a good end of trend, likely to find some support at that point. You can see that's what we had into this retrace. But then as soon as we had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, bang, Rambo patterns showing this move is suspect at this point, and then the professionals step in with these bars up here at 15, 16, bang, the thing just kind of gets going. And again, just keep on looking for these retests with amateur bars here. So another push back up to support becomes resistance, amateur bar right there, and we kind of set off this down move. If you missed that one, we've got this pullback with amateur bars here. This thing kind of just kept on going to the downside until we get another end of trend. This end of trend, you see, we had the exhaustion selling happening at the end of trend. So in this case, you're waiting for the second cyclical turn. And at the second cyclical turn afterwards, there you go. We've put in all of these kind of flush patterns and bullish divergence at that point. And all those blue professional bars, all the professionals kind of closing out at the end of the day. So there was certainly a hell of a lot better ways to trade today than I did, but I don't know, I was just focused on getting my 4 points and getting out. In terms of where this goes, so the 4,500 tip bar charts, just look at this. So we've now broken below another kind of cyclical support area that was an end of trend here. We've got our exhaustion selling on the downside, so we need to see a little bit of a flip up and a pullback to an end of trend on the 4,500 tip bar chart. Again, we're coming into Thursday tomorrow. We've got all kinds of news-driven events. Europe's starting to bubble up in terms of kind of people talking about the latest kind of bailout packages there. But obviously the big news out of the States will be on debt stealing stuff. So it is an important day in terms of this kind of selling volume down. I don't think necessarily this is kind of capitulation volume. You'd expect to see capitulation volume like that. That's capitulation volume, where we've got a move that's kind of really traveled some distance and we get that kind of final sell-off. This is falling through the ice. This is support level here being broken. We're coming up to 1290, which will be psychologically the first. It's the break of the first kind of pivot level there. That if that happens, that's a lot of people will be saying, well, we're in a downtrend now because we've broken that higher low. If we'd seen this type of extreme selling down on a bottom of a move that looked more like that, then that's kind of capitulation volume. We might reverse and go the other way. I think we'll get a little bit of a bounce in the next couple of days from this, but I don't necessarily think that low is in. So just really interested in this because the weekly support, the daily support's been broken, the weekly support is extremely close, and that does look like falling through the ice to me. But let's wait and see. Hope you traded well today, and I'm sure there are some 20-point baggers out there, so congratulations to you guys. Okay, just going short 2025. Just checking my stops and targets. And reason for getting short here, pullback in a downtrend, 1500 tip bar chart, kind of sold off overnight, gathered pace in the last few hours before the open. We did have end of trend on the 500 tip bar chart, and we bounced off that, but we've come into resistance here, pullback in a downtrend on the 1500 tip bar chart, and have broken below the first blue professional bar, kind of just after the open there. So let's see if we get some swing down at this point here, continuation of this downtrend. Okay, a minute later, this thing's gathering steam. We're down at 18.5, targets at 16.25. A little bit to run on this cyclical swing down on the 1500 tip bar chart. It's still waiting. These blue professional bars kind of got broken to the underneath their lows, so hopefully we'll see some more blue professional bars come in when this they start to kind of take profits. There's the first one there, 18.5. So had exhaustion selling down here, but I'm going to wait until we see bullish divergence at least. There's a pro signal on the 500, but more interested in pro signal on 15, so still short. Cashed out at 18.25 for 2. Reason for getting out there, end of trends just come on the 1500 tip bar chart, blue professional bars down at the lows here, bullish divergence on the 500, so we'll probably, we should kind of run up a little bit until we get a pullback and downtrend on the 500 tip bar chart. Of course, what I don't want is this to go through straight through 18 like a knife through butter and keep going down. No, but back up to 19, so good. So I'm glad to be out at 18.25. Just look for a next opportunity to get short. Okay, just got short 18.75, and the reason for getting short here, we've got pullback and a downtrend happening on the 500 tip bar chart in a fraction too early here. Kind of amateur bars up here as this, we're coming into this. This isn't over, and we haven't had exhaustion selling on the downside on the 1500 tip bar chart. So that's what I'm guessing. We'll kind of break to new lows to get that going. Hopefully this is it. Good. So this will be confirmed pullback and a downtrend here. Just out at 16.75 for 2. Good, that was lucky. We had end of trend coming on the 500 tip bar chart, and then it just kind of sunk down to a Rambo pattern just beneath it there, took me out. So for another 2, so that's 2 trades, 4 points. Done for the day, 8:42 AM. How good is that? Is that 12 minutes after the open? Brilliant. So where it goes from here I do not know. Just going to keep on watching it for a while, see what the other markets are doing. Hope you traded well today.